Title: Caitlin Clark breaks silence as Indiana Fever face growing questions. What should have been a feel-good return for Caitlin Clark quickly turned into one of the most talked-about stories of the WNBA season. Fans expected to celebrate the comeback of one of basketball's brightest young stars. Instead, they were left asking one question: why was Clark constantly being taken in and out of the game? The unusual substitution pattern immediately caught everyone's attention. Every time Clark appeared to settle into the offense, she was sent back to the bench. The stop-and-start rotation made it nearly impossible for her to find rhythm, and viewers across social media began criticizing the coaching decisions. After the game, Clark addressed the situation herself. She made it clear that the substitution strategy was not her decision. Speaking honestly with reporters, Clark admitted that playing only a few minutes at a time made it difficult to establish any rhythm. She explained that when a player is constantly entering and leaving the game, it's hard to read the defense, build confidence, and stay mentally locked in. Still, Clark remained professional. Rather than attacking anyone personally, she focused on the positive. She said her body felt healthy, which was the biggest victory after returning from injury. But at the same time, her comments made it obvious that she wasn't comfortable with the game plan. Her words instantly sparked debate throughout the basketball world. Fans questioned whether the Indiana Fever had handled the return of their franchise player correctly. Many understood the need for a minutes restriction after an injury, but they wondered why those minutes had to be divided into such short stretches instead of allowing Clark to play longer shifts. Basketball analysts also pointed out that elite shooters often rely on rhythm. Taking them out every few minutes can disrupt timing, confidence, and offensive flow. Throughout the game, television cameras repeatedly showed Clark riding the stationary bike on the sideline to keep her muscles warm before checking back into the game. Moments later, she would return to the court, only to be substituted out again. The unusual rotation became one of the biggest talking points after the final buzzer. Head coach Stephanie White defended the decision by explaining that Clark had She acknowledged that she's an extremely competitive player who always wants to stay on the floor. At the same time, she understood the importance of listening to the medical staff. She admitted that competitors often believe they can play more than they actually should. Even so, her comments suggested that she felt capable of handling a larger workload than she was given. That difference in perspective fueled even more discussion among fans. Some believed the coaching staff made the correct medical decision. Others argued that if Clark's playing time had to be so heavily interrupted, it might have been better to hold her out for another game instead of placing her in a situation where she could never establish a rhythm. The conversation quickly expanded beyond one game. Many observers began asking bigger questions about how the Fever are developing around their young superstar. Clark entered the WNBA carrying enormous expectations after one of the greatest college basketball careers ever. Her arrival brought record television ratings, sold-out arenas, and unprecedented attention to women's basketball. Naturally, every coaching decision involving her receives intense scrutiny. When the Fever struggle offensively, many fans immediately wonder whether the system is maximizing Clark's unique strengths. Others believe patience is necessary. Building chemistry, adjusting rotations, and managing injuries are all normal parts of a long professional season. Former players have also pointed out that returning from injury is rarely smooth. Even when athletes feel healthy, regaining game speed, conditioning, and timing usually takes several games. That makes balancing player health and winning games an incredibly difficult challenge for any coaching staff. One reason this story gained so much attention was Clark's honesty. She didn't create controversy by criticizing teammates or coaches personally. Instead, she simply explained how the rotation affected her ability to play. That level of transparency resonated with fans because it gave them insight into what players experience during carefully managed injury returns. Social media quickly filled with different opinions. Some praised Clark for speaking honestly while remaining respectful. Others defended the coaching staff, arguing that protecting a franchise player after injury is more important than one regular season game. There were also debates about team philosophy. Should the offense always revolve around Clark? Or should Indiana continue building a more balanced attack that doesn't depend entirely on one player? Those questions will likely continue throughout the season. Another factor making headlines is the pressure surrounding the Indiana Fever organization. With Clark bringing unprecedented attention to the franchise, every victory, loss, substitution, and coaching decision becomes national news. Few teams in professional basketball operate under that level of constant attention. That pressure affects everyone, from coaches and players to the front office. For now, the Fever insist that player health remains the top priority. Clark has also emphasized that her long-term health matters more than any single game. She understands there's a long season ahead and believes she'll gradually regain full rhythm as her workload increases. The real test will come over the next several games. If Clark begins receiving longer stretches on the floor and starts looking like her usual self, much of this debate will likely disappear. If the same substitution pattern continues, however, questions surrounding Indiana's approach are almost certain to grow louder. One thing is undeniable. Caitlin Clark remains one of the biggest attractions in basketball. Every decision involving her will continue to generate headlines, spark debate, and capture the attention of fans across the sports world. As the season moves forward, everyone will be watching to see whether the Indiana Fever can find the right balance between protecting their superstar and allowing her to play the fast, creative style of basketball that made her one of the most exciting players in the game. The story is far from over, and the next chapter could shape not only Indiana's season but also the ongoing conversation about how elite young stars should be managed after returning from injury.